Muscadine Bloodline, some of our favorite dudes ever here. Some of the most underrated country artists there is. Gary and Chuck Diesel.
Is this our first three-peat? I don't know if we've had three. We've had you guys on twice before, right?
I think we did. I think we did it like in person once, and then this is our second time on Zoom. So yeah, it's a three-peat, baby.
There you go. You guys have a new song coming out this Friday.
Yes,
we heard it, which we usually don't like to hear it ahead of time. We like to hear it when it comes out, but it's a honky tonker. It's Wes. How did you describe? You were like, because you heard her before me, Wes.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. It's a little bit Alan Jackson meets Leonard Skinner meets fucking.
Hey, I'll take all that.
Yeah. I mean that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it gets you going. When I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is legit.
Yeah, it was almost kind of intentional, like with the kind of Skinner vibe or whatever, just how it is. We were like, we could have made it just like a straight like 90s thing, but I was like, let's just do this 4 on the floor, just like really, we're calling it like speedball country, kind of like this, like it's kind of like crazy, like bombastic, thing. And we've been playing it live for what now, Charlie? About 4 months, probably.
Yeah. People are loving it.
People actually dance, and it's not like, I'm not talking like TikTok dances. It's like legitimate, like you see people in the crowd like cut a rug and stuff like that. It's really cool, and they don't even know it, but they're like acting and moving like they know it, which is cool.
It sounds like a classic like country song from like that like 80s or something. So they're like, oh yeah, I know this one. They're just like playing like they know it.
Exactly. It's like you're tricking them. We're kind of tricking them into liking it. Like they're like, they hear the beat and stuff, and it just gets kicking in. And you're like, is this like John Michael Montgomery or Leonard Skinner? Like I can't tell what it is.
Yeah, it's been cool to see.
There's definitely an element to like the 90s era where even if somebody comes out with something today that sounds like that, you're like, oh, I know this song, because it's such a familiar like period of time.
It's got that nostalgia.
And then we had the 2000s were good. I think we have a playlist on our Spotify that's pretty solid of like 2000 to 2010. And then it got so weird in that 2013, 14, the cruise era, bro country, all that. But then it kind of came back again, the 90s sound. I appreciate that you guys do. You guys definitely have your sound, but I love when, or I actually don't love when certain artists kind of have a sound, but they always stick to it. They don't like kind of branch out a little bit for like a more upbeat. Because even Alan Jackson, nobody's going to say Chattahoochee's actually his best song. Obviously, we love it. But as far as his songwriting goes and stuff, he's got so many other like hits that are just like, so you guys actually went and did it, and you guys kind of create that like variation in your sound, which I think is really important. Gary over here, you like rap sometimes, right? And maybe not in the songs, but
yeah.
Where my drunk tattoo got a rap.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It's a little rappy.
But no, it's been really cool, man. I mean, I remember last time we talked, we actually had just finished a whole rock record, and I remember we were like, yeah, this is the next thing, and like over COVID, Charlie and I really just did a lot of soul searching about like, dude, like what is, like we were like, if you ask like someone what is Muscadine Bloodline, the guys from Muscadine Bloodline don't even know that answer. And so it's like,
that's true.
And it's like, what are we really, we've been doing this for 6 years, and we don't have like our thing that we like want to do. We're kind of all over the board. You have something that's really heavy, something that's just guitar and like
and love songs,
love songs or whatever. And it's all over the board. And we were kind of like, man, where's your heart at? And that's where we started writing this record that we got coming out soon. And this is the first single off of it. And really, man, we just went back to the basics, and we started thinking about, it's like, man, what do we go back and listen to? What do we go back and cover? And who are the artists that we're listening to and not really chasing something? That's like, we feel like in country music, a lot of artists feel like, what are we supposed to be doing, instead of like, nah, what do we just want to do?
What are you being called to do? Yeah.
Right. And this record is the first time for real that I've ever felt like, yeah, this is what we're supposed to do. And so this is kind of going to be a new, like, it's a turning of a page, really. It's really like, and it's going back to just the roots of just like Dying for a Living is definitely like this fun, fast paced song, but this record is just all about good songwriting. We tackle, different subject matter that is not your atypical, like I feel like on the radio right now, it's either like barstool country, mullet culture, shotgun a beer, breakups, and
WWE country,
Right. That's
that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. You can quote that.
There's like matter that no one really talks about that, like, God, I reminisce of like the old days from the like 70s, 80s, and even in the 90s era. But we talk about the music industry in this record. We talk about the dichotomy of like being from the South, like, the good things we love about it, yet there's some things that aren't right. And so it's like taking like different subject matters like that and just like bringing the sonic sound to it. Like we actually used our touring band to do the record, which was really cool. Like, everybody in Nashville usually most of the time gets the A-list studio, musicians to play on every record. Hence why a lot of the songs sound exactly the same, just insert whatever artist into it. And so it made it like really special, really honest, really organic. And now it's just our focus now. It's just like, dude, just be happy what we're doing. And this is the first time, like Charlie and I don't think we're fighting with that anymore, of really that kind of like, are we happy with what we're doing, but does it work with what's going on 16th Ave? Or is it, and it's like, that doesn't even matter anymore. So it's just kind of like, dude, we're just doing what we love. And we're just ready to, we've been living with this record already for golly, 7-8 months. And we got the next record that's like already pretty much written. And we're just like ready to, get to that. So we're like living a year ahead of everybody. And it's just kind of like, but where it's going, this is kind of this next sound of this record's where the kind of ship is coming to, it's coming into harbor. And this is kind of like what you're going to be getting from Muscadine Bloodline.
I love it.
It's interesting you say that, like almost like a struggle to find identity in a sense, because I kind of peg you two as like the quintessential like independent band who like does whatever they want. It seems like, I'm gonna play this, I don't care. Like, yeah. So it's
and there's still a lot of that's gonna happen, like with that being said, it's like we want to make a record a year that's like a country record, but we also are always creating, and we always have ideas. Like we have this idea in the back of our head. It's like, hey, let's go do this like emo EP and like make it country, like this like emo like covering like Mayday Parade and like stuff like that. It's like you're, as an artist, you're always gonna be
I don't know what that, Wes knows what that is. I don't know what that is.
I know you're talking about.
But no, kind of like going on what Charlie said, it's like we want to do like the record. It's like we're considering ourselves now like an album like artist. Like we're gonna do an album every year.
I love that. Yeah.
It's not just going to be, but there will be some fun projects, like probably mixed in between that are like, hey, don't take this serious. This is just scratching an itch that, and back to the regular scheduled program. And we already have like, ideas of some different records, like we had one like called like Songs for Southern Daddies, and like literally take like 70s rock songs and redo them.
Yeah,
and
that's smart. Yeah.
Here's this fun little project that, we just have. This is just for fun. Don't take this serious, whatever. Back to the record that if you want to identify Muscadine Bloodline, this is what it is.
Well, I love that, because I actually hear a lot of similarities with us through our journey too, of when we were trying to kind of do everything. And then when Wes and I kind of stopped and we said, wait, what are we doing? Would I rather post an interesting outdoors article that actually interests me, or a cookie cutter mainstream country news article?
Press release.
Yeah. So we started shifting towards like, no, we're gonna just fuck Nashville. We're gonna post what we want to post. Sorry, PR teams, that we're not gonna post that. I'd rather post this Yellowstone video about these wolves chasing whatever, so it's like, so
it's the same thing.
Like, yeah, it's the same shit. Like you go through that phase of like, wait, we can do whatever we want. Like it's on us. But yeah, to your point, like you have bands that kind of, I love the American Aquarium did that 90s cover that came out of nowhere album. And I was like, oh, this is such a smart way, great band, to like get that music to people that maybe didn't know who they were.
My wife.
Well.
Exactly.
Yeah. My 1-year-old son loves Down at the Twist and Shout now, not because the original version, but because they covered it. And I was playing it on the New Music Friday or whatever. And it was like, there you go.
Yeah. My wife is constantly playing the American Aquarium country record, but she grew up in the suburbs here. Like she's not a country girl, didn't grow up listening to Alan Jackson or Toby Keith or any of those people. and she's playing that all the time, and she's singing them, and now she's listening to 90s country, and it's like it's really powerful what that kind of stuff can do for people who aren't necessarily familiar with like where the history came from.
Yeah, no, it is, man. It's been cool to see what that record has done for him. And like, dude, BJ's a good friend of ours, and that yeah, quintessential grinder of like he does everything. He still like folds all the t-shirts and sends them in packages and does it like when Pearl is 3-year-old toddlers asleep and stuff like he's out there getting it. Like that's a dude. Like if you said who do you respect the most in the business, that BJ's one of them for us. But no, I mean, I think you're right talking about what Steve was talking about. There's been a lot of parallels with like what Risky Riff has been doing, how it's been operating to like what we're kind of doing. Because we now live in this Wild West world where like there's really no rules unless you just want to make them for yourself. But you can really do whatever you want, which is like the most beautiful yet terrifying thing about like owning a business,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And is that like, that's one of like the great things about being independent with you guys. What are some of the things that you're like, this makes it a lot harder, or is there anything at all?
I mean, luckily, like I would say that we're to a point now, like, where most of the struggles that young independent artists have, like, is usually capital. It's usually, just getting their name around town and stuff like that. It's like, we've got the capital now. We make enough money to like really do whatever we want, like as a business, you know what I'm saying? Like we can go in the studio anytime we want. It's never like, oh man, can we make this record today?
Straight
like,
together.
no, it's just like, yeah, exactly. It's like we own 100% of every single piece of our business. And so that's the biggest thing that's created this freedom that we can have financially and creatively now, because now we don't have anybody to please. We don't have anybody to please but Gary and I. We did the whole like 16th Ave thing. We did the whole Music Row. Like we had a publishing deal and it didn't work out and all that stuff. And it all led us to this, and which was subconsciously what we wanted the whole damn time. So it's like, I would say that really the hardest of hard parts of being independent is finally over for us. Now it's just a war of attrition. It's just like, how do you get the fans that haven't heard you to hear you? Like, it's like, we don't have radio. So how do you compete? How do you come up with cool marketing plans that isn't shaking your ass on TikTok and get people to love your music?
Yeah.
I have that quote from your guys' Twitter real quick, Gary, that I actually had written down. I maybe missed a few words here, but dancing and lip syncing to your own song, if that's a recipe for success, I'd rather be a failure. Because I love that tweet not that long ago. The TikTok stuff has been a like pain in our ass too. Like we get super annoyed with the way it works and the way it's gamed for the system and for charts and Apple and Spotify. And then we posted that reel kind of popped off for us last night of this kid like breaking it down in Kentucky. We put like what do we end up putting on, the Game of 50 Cent, I think, song. But then Kip Moore commented, he goes, he'll have a record deal by the morning thanks to Tug. He goes, thanks to Tug. What did he say? Tick Tug?
Tick Tug or Tug?
He called it Tick Tug. Yeah. I was like, this is perfect. I was like, I got to bring this up to the guys in case they missed it. But that's gotta grind your gears a little bit. No, it can be a cool
TikTok
platform. It's a cool platform to get your music out if you're just sitting there acoustic, whatever. Cool.
Yeah, I think there's ways to like. There's just things. First off, is like TikTok's one of those things where this is the first time ever in our life, being from the generation we are and the age that we all are. Like, there's stuff that on there that I don't think is cool, and that 18-year-olds think is really cool. And so it's like, and there's stuff that I don't get. Like, this is the first one that like I really don't understand like how this works. And so
China, hello. Come on, like
yeah, like I get why it works, and like, and if I don't know, it's like it's this weird thing because I understand it and like I respect it as a beast, like as what it is. It's a piece of the world now. It's just a part of it. Like we've got 100K people on TikTok, but we don't do, in my opinion, lame stuff to get there. But it's like, do we utilize it? Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like I don't use it. Like, we definitely utilize it, but it's like it's so interesting because there are artists that like I get why they do what they do on it, but it doesn't mean I like it. You know what I'm saying?
When they play the words,
like, I get it,
dude. That's one of my biggest.
I refuse
pet
to do
peeves in the fucking world is like that thing. Like I get like, my wife's like, is everything okay? And I'm just like I accidentally went on TikTok. Like that element of it, the phoniness, the fakeness, the lip syncing into your own song, which Kane Brown did a lot too before TikTok, but that shit just, I'm like, I don't even know what the word is, like douche.
Yeah, but like
goober,
if you think about it like this, it's just like, listen, like
ugh.
most all the artists that we look up to and like want to emulate, and like they don't do that. So it's like
Exactly.
we're not gonna do
Hello,
that. You know
does
what I mean?
anybody see that?
It's a place for people that will do that. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a podcast a long time ago with Corey Smith, and we were doing our podcast pretty heavy, and we look up to Corey. He's one of the best like independent models. Like he just made it happen. He said, look, man, like we were like defining what like fame is and like what success is. And he's like, look, dude, like the reason why I never signed a deal and the reason why I don't do the type of stuff that a lot of these young cats will do is because there's things that I'm not willing to do to be famous. Like, and I don't want it that bad. Like, and that's part of the thing that like I'm saying we won't do that. Like, it's just,
I love it.
It's funny because like sometimes even people will be like, y'all should do this, like blah blah blah. I'm like, no, like we're not gonna, absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah.
If you could think of a really clever TikTok that has nothing to do with being like playing into the system, I think that's cool.
Exactly.
Like I have one I've been meaning to do involving a vodka like screwdriver thing with my wife. It's just like, I'm like, oh, this is a funny tweet that I saw that might make a good TikTok. But that's not like me and like, hey Wes, we
it's
gotta
not
go
a business
dance.
plan.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we gotta
Exactly,
we gotta go like we gotta go dance, and then like our social media intern now, she's crushing it. But like I told her, I'm like, you know what? Have fun with TikTok. She's 21 years old. I go, I don't care. Just do whatever.
Yeah.
You know, just like have fun with it. But some of the real quick, because this has been a big thing I've noticed with TikTok is you talking about how young the people are. A big issue is now that artists cover songs go viral on their artists, whoever people trying to make it. They're like covering songs, but they don't say it's a cover. And then these 18-year-olds or 16-year-olds that are following that artist, they're like, oh, this guy wrote, you know, insert amazing song written, whatever. And then it's just like this, you want to talk about the Wild West.
Right.
You have all these fans thinking that this dude pointing at his lyrics wrote
a George Strait song.
wrote it like, or like something. You're like, oh, this is not good. Like now these artists are getting pissed off. We've seen on Twitter a little bit. Some of these Texas guys that had their songs.
If you remember though, the same thing happened with YouTube. When YouTube started becoming like the thing, you know, like everybody used to put cover songs on there. Like a lot of times now you can't even, you'll get flagged for that.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll get
like,
demonetized right away.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you're not, you can put them on there, but you're not going to make capital on it. So it's like, I feel like that same type of thing eventually having a TikTok, you know, it's like just one of those things, copyright and all that stuff. They're going to crack down on that stuff. And I don't necessarily disagree with it. Like if you want to cover like a badass George Strait song, I think that's sick. But like, I mean, it's like you got to say it's George Strait, right?
Yeah,
at least.
No, you can't go take a song from like a country band in Texas right now. It's a bunch of young guys and take a song off their album and play it as your own and not be like, hey, I'm covering insert artist. Like to me, that gets really kind of shady, and you can get away with that on there. Like on Instagram Reels or something, you can't get away with that. People call you out right away. You know, it's like people see it in their. I don't know. It's kind of freaks me out. And
I mean, selfishly, like I guess as an artist, when I hear people covering our stuff, I don't give a damn. Like, cause I'm just like, yo, first of all, that's just free promo, especially if it's like a viral video. Like most people
they're gonna Google the lyrics or something.
Yeah, like I would say that, you know, over 50% of the people are gonna at least know it's you. You know, okay, you're gonna miss some of the people, but like that's another part of the beast with TikTok. It's like it's so passive. No one really cares about the dude singing the song in it. Like you might have 1 million followers on there, but I'd rather have 1 million emails than have 1 million followers on TikTok, because these people aren't buying what you're selling. They're just clicking like on a screen, which is like, that's fine. Like congrats on the clout.
And then these last thing about TikTok, but then there's these gimmicky people now that I see on like Instagram Reels for whatever reasons coming up in the Explore or whatever, and about, oh, I heard we can't sell tickets because we're TikTokers and stuff. And it's like, no, dude, you can't. Like, and they'll take a picture. They'll take a picture of some venue where it's, that the right angle and 35 people there, but as you take the right angle, it looks like you sold out a venue. And I'm kind of like, you don't have grassroots fans like you guys have, like a Kip Moore we mentioned earlier has, like an Eric Church is known for building over the years when he got kicked off the Rascals. Like those are the fans that matter. And the reason you guys aren't worried about that anymore with studio time or whatever, you earn the fans. You earn
every night in the road,
Right. And that's always going to be ultimately the most important thing, like there's always going to be another app, fellas, there's going to be one after TikTok, and we're going to have some robots stuff posted on there. Yeah. And it's like, whatever, like there's always going to be another thing. And we just look at it as like, hey, it's another part of the business. Let's figure out a cool way to do it. That's the way I look at it,
We're all married men now. Like we're like getting like crusty and we're like complaining about the kids on TikTok.
Dude, it's bad. I'm sitting there like, damn, we're kind of getting heated about this.
Yeah. Now it is a weird thing, man. But look, the only thing you can hang your hat on is just like, dude, the music's just got to be there. The music has got to like resonate with people.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter how viral the video is. It doesn't matter what you're doing in the video to the song. It's all about just the song. And so like, I feel like at the core of this thing, like the people we love to listen to and those artists that we love, it's like, it's all about the music. Like, take away, we're kind of in this world right now too. And country, like everyone's, Charlie and I were talking about this other day. There's like a lot of spectacles in the world right now. And there's like, it's the look or it's whatever it is.
It's the gimmick. It's the whatever.
And it's a fad thing like that. Like in 5 years, like when we look at mullets, like White Snake was cool at one point. You know what I'm saying? Like that was cool. And so like, and then it's not, so it's one of those things where like that stuff happens, but it's like at the end of the day, man, like you said, we're married guys. Like Charlie and I, we think we're cool, but the world doesn't think being married and being domesticated is that cool. And so kind of like hang our hat on. It's just like go out there and play the best show we can and give people good music. And that's
literally the best we can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's fine with me. Like,
I don't know which one of you guys tweeted on the Muscadine Twitter, but similarly, there was a tweet about product presentation versus the product itself, which I thought was a great tweet, kind of to your point, Gary, about at the end of the day, it's like the artists that are good and make good music, like a Miranda Lambert or whatever, they're gonna be around forever. Like you're gonna 20 years from now listen to Miranda Lambert songs. A lot of the stuff with that tweet fits into a lot of stuff that we're not gonna hear. They're in that little window of fame, and then that goes away, and then it's that. So it's like the songs and the fans carry it.
Yeah, it really does, man. I mean, it is all about the product you're given, and it's just kind of like, I am so, and Charlie and I talk about this all the time. We're so envious of like artists, like take like Eric Church, like he's not even present on social media, or like a guy like, Tyler Childers. He hasn't posted since he put out the, Long Island.
Yeah. Nobody knows what that dude's doing.
Yeah, you don't know. No one cares.
He's picking mushrooms in the woods, man.
Right.
Exactly.
And his music's sick. So like people love the music. So that's why it's still growing. So that's just kind of like who really, really want to take a step back and emulate. Cause I don't want to be the guy that's got the phone all the time and doing that. It's like, Charlie and I are coming up on 30 years old, and, we're just kind of like, like going back to what Corey Smith said, it's just really, there's just stuff we're not willing to do. And, we'll die on that hill. That's okay. Like we're cool with, I mean, dude, I'm content with where we are now, but it's just like, but we're still driven guys. Like, obviously we want to see this thing grow, but like we can look back, and I got to check my ego often and say like, dang, like what we've done is really cool. And like, we can't compare ourselves to these people operating over here because they're not in the same boat as we are. So like when I see someone else, selling more tickets than we are, and he's got buzz right now, it's like, dang, dude, like, why isn't it us? Why can't we get that? And then we got to check back and be like, it's not our journey, dude. And so
it don't matter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All we can really do, and I think the dream, like, I mean, our dreams are like coming true all the time. And it's like, it's so cool to see, but I would like, and Gary said this at the beginning, it's just like our best the best thing we can do is create the demand through music. Like that's what we want you to come to the show for. We don't want you to come to the show because we're good looking. We don't want you to come because of anything else but the music. We don't want you there. We want you to love the music. And I think, and I'm proud of what we've built because that's what we have. That's what our fans come for. And that's what is so amazing and great.
Yeah.
Well said.
For sure. That was another tweet you guys had too about stop comparing yourselves to other artists. How hard does that get at times? Because I feel like there are times where me and Steve will see like other people in our space too, and we're like, man, you know, they did that. Fuck, like why we feel like we're behind, and it's easy to get like.
We even branch off. Like it's almost like we look for it. We'll go outside of the media world and like to somebody that has nothing to do with country music or the outdoors. And we're like, hey, look what they're doing. I'm like, what are we doing? We're just wasting our time.
Yeah,
right
like
now.
why do we care?
Yeah.
I mean, that really never goes away, man. Like in any business, like if it don't matter if you're a plumber, if you're a musician, if you're a golfer, like it don't matter. Like you're always gonna look at somebody else and they're gonna temporarily steal your joy because you think.
Did we lose you, Charlie?
Like, oh, maybe. Can y'all hear me?
He's back.
We got you back.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't know what happened. But I was just saying, like, it don't matter if you're a plumber, a golfer, a musician, you know, it's always, you're always going to be able to look over there and say, oh, well, he's happier than me. Why am I not happy? And it's just a simple fix, man. Just gratitude fixes that. You know, it's just like, be thankful for what you got.
Real quick. I don't know if you guys are fans of, I know Wes and I talk about him a lot. Anthony Bourdain. I finally watched his new documentary. I rented it on Amazon Prime, and it's depressing as shit. But like towards the end, but
yeah,
that guy like changed the course of my life when I was a kid, like in college and stuff. And a lot of this is like the same thing. You would look at him and say, best job in the world. Like you travel literally to everywhere in the world, and you eat and you drink and you have a good time. But man, there was not anybody like that seemed as lonely as that guy. That seemed like he was doing these things and he wasn't doing anything to chase anything. But if anything, everybody was trying to emulate what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And then he started putting out these things like, this isn't happiness. I want to just be in my backyard grilling burgers for my daughter. You know, it's like, you're like, shit. It's really quick and then he became, I don't want to mispronounce, agoraphobic, right? Where you're afraid of crowds. So you're just like, shit, like what's the point of fame? You guys are talking about Corey Smith and what he was saying, and kind of made me think of that last night that I watched that. And fame itself at its core seems so super, super toxic, and it can easily diverge you from your kind of like, oh, this is my plan. This is our plan, our music, and this, because you get a record deal and it's, hey, change this, change what you're wearing, change your facial hair, change your hat, change your shirt, change your
name sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Like if you don't need it, like, fuck it.
Yeah. I mean,
and
you see so many people, like, I mean, even in country, we've had our examples of that. Like there's some dudes out there who are killing it. And you're like, dude, there's no way that guy's happy. Like, no way. And so it's just kind of like, it is what it is, man. And I think, like Charlie said, it's like, it's just gratitude, just being thankful for where you're at. Because even the hurdles that we accomplish, we sell out a venue. And it's just like the next thing you're looking at is the next thing instead of just, hey, dude, this is really cool that we get to do this every night and play music to people and affect people's lives. And so that's really what you got to check yourself on. And it's, like I said, like this COVID thing, and it sucked for a lot of people, but it was honestly like a blessing for Charlie and I, because we just got to really kind of like, you know, doing a lot of self-examination and, you know, just have some time off and not just doing the hustle and bustle of things. Like we got to really look at those kind of things that, you know, especially comparing, that's been one of my flaws for sure, is comparing yourself to someone else or just always wanting the next thing, not enjoying the moment while you're there. Because you look back like, dang, I just did this for 5 years. You know, this is my job. And like, I'm saying,
just not being happy for people. Like, it's like, hey, your boy did this, like, good for him. That's great. Like, instead of being like, man, like, I wish that was us. You
or
know,
like,
oh, dude,
like, oh, he got lucky or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, dude, like everybody deserves exactly what they're getting. And so that's just one thing you got to remember. It's like, we get to do this, not we have to go do this. You know, it's like, this is a freaking privilege to be able to play music for a living. Like,
Right.
damn, dude, it's insane how awesome it is.
Do you laugh? Do you laugh? No, sorry. Like, do you what you just said? Because like even when Luke Combs blew up, like then you had the obvious people are like sell out. It's like, what do you like? It's not like selling out when your fan base grows a lot. You know, it's not,
Yeah.
you know, you get those weird comments that you see when an artist like kind of takes that next step or it really blows up. And sure, there are times where maybe the artist goes on a path that you're like, oh, come on, like you were so much better on your first album. But
yeah,
like a Luke Combs type, you're like, I respect that. Like that seemed to happen in a way that,
when if you're getting what you want, like why is it selling out?
I used to think selling out was something a lot different. You know, it's like,
yeah,
now that I understand like business and stuff like that, it's like, dude, if you want to sign a record, I don't care. Like, we're not anti-record deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Luke Combs is about to be the next Garth freaking Brooks. He's about to be the biggest country artist of all time, if you ask me. And so it's like, how would I ever be able to knock this dude for signing a record deal? Like, that's the smartest decision he ever made. That's amazing.
but selling,
you know what I mean?
selling out is like a respected chef doing like a commercial for Applebee's. That's selling out.
Right. Usually it just means people are mad at you for getting your money.
And like doing something you would normally never do to get that money.
Yeah.
Right. Like
exactly.
I think a lot of it is like, I think people as a consumer are inherently selfish.
So selfish.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like we see something. So take like a Luke Combs. When I'm seeing Luke Combs play in 1,500 cap rooms, it's special because I'm onto something before the whole stadium world is.
Yeah.
And so there's this like, I don't know what it is, but there's this like hurdle that it's like this hill and it starts to go, you cross that threshold, and I don't know what makes that happen, but it's like, oh, it's popping off and now everyone knows it. Honestly, I did that with like, this is going to sound like not what we're doing, but like Sam Hunt, like when he was doing his like
his mixtape,
the acoustic mixtape, yeah, shit was dope.
Charlie and I were on that really, really early when I was in like college and stuff. And I was like, I mean, it was fresh, it was cool, and it was like, but then once I even noticed myself, like once Sam Hunt got big, I was like, on to the next thing. And
it doesn't feel like it's yours anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like as an artist, it doesn't feel like it's your thing. It's your baby. You know, like the world knows about it now. And it's like, oh man, like, of course they went into $100,000 studio and spent $1 million to make a record and remake these songs. It's like, they don't sound like I liked them when they sounded like shit, you know, like that's what I wanted. Like,
right.
Yeah. And it really is true, because it's just kind of like, it's like, man, I love, I mean, I feel like I'm kind of like, I love searching for the new thing or whatever. And literally when you see something pop and everybody's on it, I'm kind of like, okay, let me go find that other thing. And so and people hold that with value, because I think when it's at that case, like in our level, when we're playing clubs and stuff, it's tangible. Like we go to the merch table, we see you, we do all these, you know, we take pictures with you, we shake your hand, tell you thanks for coming. You know, we can spot the fans that come, you know, they were there the night before in the other town and they come back, and it's like, that's the thing. But when Luke Combs steps out in front of, you know, 50,000 people, that's not a thing anymore. So it's not that tangible thing. So I think people, like I said, are just like inherently selfish in that fact. Well, they just want to bob onto that.
And fans kind of tend to treat artists too, like, you're here for me to serve my needs. Yeah. So like lately, Tyler Childers hasn't played like White House Road recently, and all the fans on Twitter are like, man, why the fuck isn't he singing his hits? Like, what the hell?
This song made you, like, bro.
I'm like, dude, the guy just got sober. Do you think he wants to sing about doing cocaine? Like, for fuck's sake. Like,
like all the time.
Like he's guy's like a person. He's not a racehorse, you know? Like, it's just, but fans are kind of like, there's an element of like,
oh yeah, your set list is shit. Like,
you got to do this. You got to do what I want to do.
Yeah. And it is crazy. I mean, this is kind of a tangent, but like, even take like these incredible artists that like even committed suicide. Take like a Chester from Linkin Park. Like, you listen to those songs, it's like, listen to those lyrics. That dude was hurting. Like bad.
Like he was literally crying for help. Like in his lyrics, and everybody was just like,
"That's the Bourdain dude." Like they put clips from all these episodes over the years, all the times he's saying like, "Oh, can this
depressing things?
You think that's to hold my weight?" And like joking about like hanging himself. You're like, shit, like tons of examples after the fact.
Yeah,
but if we're more present, if we're more present in the moment, you're like, oh shit, like he or she is asking for something.
Yeah, it's like, and people would rather see freaking Lincoln or Chester or Mac Miller die doing that stuff. Little Peep die talking about these things and living this life.
Avicii was another crazy one.
It's because they're famous. They want you to. They just what you become famous for is what you're going to be famous for forever. So it's like if you're famous for talking about drinking lean, like your fans are going to encourage you to drink lean until you die. Like it just is what it is.
It's like they don't. It's like they don't care until it's gone. It's like, where were you when the dude needed help, kind of thing. Right. I mean, like if a Kurt Cobain got sober, like it was like, and he wasn't putting out the music that he was, and then he has to live with that. Now they put out a record after Kurt Cobain sober, and it's not.
They would have said he was washed. They would have been washed up.
Well, Keith Whitley too. Like there was, I mean, you see how young he was when he died. You're like, shit. Like, and you see some of the last performances he ever did live that were recorded. You can see it on his face. Like,
yeah. It could be dark, and so it's just kind of like that's always been a weird barrier, especially for us, because like we are so like a tangible brand. So like we see the faces and we're on we're in the fan group pages, we're in everything, just as ourselves. And so like it's a weird line to toe sometimes, for sure. Like it's definitely a thing you got to kind of like, because there is that boundary that has to be there.
You definitely give more of your like self, to live this type of fandom, I guess.
And most people, I'd say, understand, but there's just all those people that kind of cross the line and just kind of be like, hey, whoa, kind of chill out or whatever. But that's just a part of it, man. That's a blessing. It could be it's an extreme blessing, but it also comes with a few curses, that if you're willing to hurdle over those, it's great.
Yeah, even going off on another little tangent, but y'all have probably seen this like little clip of Justin Bieber. He like pulls up to his apartment in New York City, and he's got like 50 people just standing there, and he's like, hey guys, like, and he levels with them. Like he's like, just, you can tell he's like grown up, but he levels with them. He's like, listen guys, this is my home. Like I need you to not be here. If someone was at your home when you came, like you would call the police. So I need you to leave me alone. Like this is my house.
I saw him eating lunch the other day somewhere with his friends, and there was literally like 50 girls around the table, like on a sidewalk in New York City, and he's just like eating a salad or whatever. And it's just, my God,
dude, that's depressing, man. I could not imagine that.
Well, that's like you just want to.
There's that peak though, where like you start coming up and people start recognizing you, and people start recognizing you. Then you get the money, and you get more famous, and then all of a sudden you can't go anywhere in public, and you're just
yeah.
It's wild.
I mean, the weird thing is all musicians technically are asking for that exact thing by just starting to be a musician. Like we all are technically asking for it. Like whether we get as big as him or not, we won't. But like, it's just like we all are subconsciously know that could happen.
Yeah, and that's it's another cool kind of aspect of where we kind of are, because like I'm never my life is not inconvenienced by anyone. So it's like there maybe like we went and ate Mexican in the town that I live in outside of Nashville, and this guy just walked up to the table and like wanted me to take a picture, and I was like, sure, dude, like whatever, and but like that stuff doesn't really happen.
It's not a problem, yeah.
Sitting at at jalapenos and sitting there just like having a meet and greet line coming to me or whatever. Like some people have to deal with that. Like I like Luke Combs is easy to spot. So he that's prime territory for some fans. So it's one of those things that we're blessed, honestly, that we don't really have to deal with that too. And like I don't know. I don't know what that peak is. Is like I would just love to be the band where like my fans think you're like you're that, but the rest of the world doesn't think that.
Has no idea who you are.
Like I don't that like the people who have those problems can have those problems, because that's not one I want.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I had to pee.
Well, that's why I kind of loved your guys' song Ain't Just the Van, because it was kind of like a funny take on like, this road life is physically hard just with the sleep and the time in the physical van, but also like mentally, it's like sometimes this shit just gets hard, man. Like it's not all glamour. It's not all, like I'm washing my face in a goddamn bathroom at a gas station, like, and I think that's kind of an awesome song, the way it kind of tells the like other side of the story,
Yeah.
Have you guys heard the whole record yet? The new record? Or did y'all just get sent the single?
I think Gary just sent us like a clip of the single. I don't even think it was the full song.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. We need to send y'all the whole thing, bro.
The whole
I'd
record.
love to hear it.
Or whatever. If y'all want it. If y'all want to wait for a little bit, y'all got, feel free. Or
Yeah,
I'll
I'm about to
listen to
say
it.
y'all don't
I'll
want to hear it.
listen
I
to it.
forgot. Yeah, y'all got to
No,
wait.
when is that coming out? Because I know that this Friday's obviously the single, and then
We haven't announced it yet.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we could, it's coming, but we're gonna drop a few singles off the record, and then, but I mean, another cool thing we like about the record is every song flows in together, so it's like you got to listen to it front to back, which like every song literally ends into the beginning of the next song, so it's like a real record, which is kind of cool. Like
Hard to find these days.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kind of hung up on I hate the fact that, like, especially in Nashville modern pop country music, it's like I feel like they just say, "Hey, what's the 10 best songs we've written in the past? Whatever. Let's go cut 40 of them. Then we'll pick 10 and let the team pick the 3 singles that's coming off of this. They're all hits. It's just a matter of what are the beats behind this one or not." So it's kind of one of those things, and I'm like, dang, dude, I miss albums. I miss album cuts. I miss things that are gonna make you think, that are like, not just like sonically, melodically, just a hit. It's just kind of one of those.
Yeah.
So, but we're excited about that the record coming out and what's to come. So we catch ourselves wanting to play the whole record out live and just like mixing the old stuff besides the songs that people really come for. Like, I don't know. I mean, Tyler Childers can fall in that sword, but if we didn't play Porch Swing Angel at a show, like, they would freaking riot probably.
I would feel bad. I would honestly feel bad too.
Like, people would wait and think that you guys are coming back out, and just like they start cleaning up the stage, or just like
yeah, it would be madness. So
I mean, that song for you guys, like, you see it in so many tweets and stuff, and then you guys kind of re-released like the anniversary. Was it an acoustic or something? And then that's got to be kind of cool to have a song that resonates that much. Even like that slogan alone, like the title, kind of you guys like kind of own that now. We have a porch swing here at our house in Colorado, and when I sit in it, I'm like, there's not a lot of songs that come to mind. Like, obviously your guys' song come to mind. Like,
no, it does. I mean, that's a weird thing. I saw this. It was an interview with Edwin McCain, whatever, and it was about he's like, are you tired of like playing that? And he's like, starts listing like all that song is done for him and stuff like that.
He's like, why would I be tired of this?
Yeah, like, nah. So it's one of those
still cashing checks on that song.
Yeah. The cool thing about us is that song, because it's never been on radio, never playlisted, people are still finding it like it's brand new. So like, what's a weird thing about it, like, it's growing. Like, that's the weird thing. It came out 6 years ago, yet we put out more music, and for some reason those like strike for a little bit, but then it's back to like Porch Swing Angel gets this huge thing, and it's just like, what the heck? Like, it's almost got 50 million streams.
Honestly, our goal is to beat it. Like, that's our goal. It's like, how do we beat this? Like, we just don't know how.
There's one, you made me think of actually one really cool part about TikTok is that, so like Josh Turner just had that happen to him, I think, with Your Man.
Yeah.
We love Josh Turner. We grew up listening to him. And then, to me, one of the most underrated ever. And somehow TikTok got a hold of, was it Your Man?
I think it was Your Man, yeah.
So they got hold of that great song, and then it became popular again. So he like redid the video with his wife or something. Because
dude, it happened to Stevie Nicks. Like when that song like became big again, like all the young kids were like, what is this? And she was like the #1 trending on iTunes for like months. You know what I mean?
So that's cool. Like, when people, I'm all for people discovering good shit, whether it's 10 years ago or 30 or 5, or even like a song like Porch Swing Angel. It's fuck it. Like, that's cool. That's when I like the social media aspect of stuff, is when people rally behind a cool thing that maybe didn't get the love it deserved when it first came out.
Yeah,
100%.
We appreciate them. Late or not to the party, I'm just glad.
I'll take them.
Yeah. What else are you guys up to these days? Like, paying attention to? I know you guys are sports fans. You got the Braves hat on over here. First place Braves.
With college football coming up.
Dude.
Bama boys.
We're Cubs fans,
Auburn
so
dudes.
we're fucking done with baseball season.
Yeah, that was a weird thing. Like, I can't believe the Cubs we're just gonna get rid of everybody. Let's just get them out.
Fucking cheap bastards, these owners.
And you should see the fucking city they're building in Wrigleyville, though. They're like, oh, we don't got any money. It's like,
speaking of selling out, there's an example of something where you get told we're gonna build this up to look like Disney World. It used to be like grungy street of bars, as you guys know, like Wrigley. Like I don't know if you guys have been to a Cubs game, but you've been to Chicago enough times. I think you've been there. If not, street of bars, boom, neighborhood, Wrigley Field. You're like, oh, now it's like they're building like a casino thing. They're like gambling.
It's like
thing.
STL Live or like
yeah, it's just all this crazy shit.
Yeah,
you're like, okay, but the whole point of that building was put money back into the team.
Yeah.
Have like the next New York Yankees every year competing.
Yeah.
they're
And
like,
then,
we have no money.
they blame COVID for not having money when every team had the same rules where they couldn't have fans. It's like, what? You guys are you're one of the most highly valued,
profitable
teams
organizations
in all of sports. All of sports.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, that's when I'm like, I'm too old for this shit, man. I just gamble on sports, and I'm not gonna try to get emotionally involved anymore.
Yeah.
We are ending our tour in Chicago though. So December 18th will be at Joe's.
Are you guys nervous
pumping
about
up.
like all the like some people are canceling tours, some people are doing this? Are you guys kind of nervous that like, it might get worse, or you just let it happen?
I mean, it's just out of our hands at this point. Like, it's just like, I don't know, dude. Like, if people want, if a promoter wants to cancel, what can I do? You know?
I think, I mean, this is just maybe trying to be positive about it, but I think since we kind of have the infrastructure already for like doing low capacity,
socially distant
things, if they have to go back to that, well, fortunately, we're not playing huge arenas and stuff like that, so we can make that work. So, I mean, that's me saying, hopefully we don't ever go back to like a lockdown again. I mean, I hope that's not on the horizon, but it's one of those things. But fortunately for us, like, you know, during the COVID pandemic, like when we being an independent band, that was a benefit because we got to throw out all the music really we wanted. And
yeah, you guys did a good job of that.
Members, like our booking agent being like, you know, that have been like encouraging us and to be like, hey, like, let's look at, you know, this is what we could do if we got a record deal, you know, we got a number one, we could get these. And then when she starts seeing all her clients not making no money and they've given up 90% to the label and they don't have any money, it's kind of like, that's where the first time they're like, man, kind of glad you are independent. This is kind of nice. Y'all going to survive this thing. And so it's like, oh, this.
Do you guys
ever love being told that?
Be honest though, like with the record deal stuff, whatever. Like I think it's crazy, guys. Maybe you turn some down, maybe you, I don't know, whatever. It's crazy to me that Wes and I will look at some of these rosters on major labels, and I'm like, and I just can't grasp it. I just can't get it. Like I get so angry that I can't be sitting in the room and say, are you guys on drugs? Like, what is wrong with you people? How is this artist going to do anything? So if I don't even have like a dog in the fight, I'm just kind of like this is annoying for you guys. That goes back to the conversation earlier. Don't care, don't pay attention, but still, like at its core, knowing your guys' talent and seeing some of the stuff, do you ever, specifically like the label Nashville Machine element of it, bother you at all, or no, not really? Just the way it works.
The only thing that bothers me is just the fact it's like, man, we're just like, it's not about the music. Like that's just the problem. Like
it's
you
about
said,
marketability. Almost.
Well, y'all were talking about the example. You know, change your facial hair, change your haircut, and start wearing this. None of wearing those examples was let's work on the music. And so it's just kind of like there's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where right now the trend is someone goes viral on TikTok, let's sign them. Like let's make that happen. That's the thing.
Good. So many names I want to drop right now.
Yeah, Steve. I honestly think the rhetoric around us is that we really don't want one. So like no one comes on our door. So it's kind of like, and we have fans like they're people like all over 16. Like we love y'all stuff. Like keep doing what you're doing, whatever. It's cool. And like, so it's just kind of like, we just operate on our own little island of misfit toys and kind of just
do. I love it. We're all in the same club there.
It don't really bother me. I'm just like, hey man, we're just gonna control what we can control. Like it's like I'm running a business. Like I don't need, you know, that's what we're the best.
You guys sound like Texas country artists. We love talking to the Texas artists because they just have such a better grasp to me of like, this is my music and my brand and my business and my baby that I have. And it's like a much more personal approach to like the product.
Yeah.
Like you guys really remind me of like you guys are kind of in that world a little bit, I guess. Like Wes, you were even saying like we almost feel like you guys fit in that world way more seamlessly.
Well, when you start a business and you sweep the floor and then you get a promotion and now you're the key holder and then you get a promotion to the next thing. I mean, we've held every job in our business. So it's like we just know what it took to get here. And so that's why we're so selfish over it. That's why we're so protective over it. It is our baby, dude.
Same.
Like it's literally like it's our lifeline. You know what I mean? It's more than just a business. Like it's literally our career. So it's like, yeah, dude, we're gonna be hella protective over that.
Yeah, and Texas guys too. I think a lot of that derives from the fact is like they don't have as many people in their ear all the time, so they can kind of wherever Texas find the guy they like recording music with and just go do their thing. And that's why it sounds like nothing else.
That's why it sounds unique.
Right. And so that's what gives it flavors because they don't have, their publicist, their digital marketer, their, publisher.
Well, they don't clock into the song mill every day and go write a song with 2 hit songwriters, which is fine if you want to do that, but like it's not a good way to sound original. You know what I'm saying? It's like, sure, if you want to go write hit songs, that's good. Go write hit songs, but you're gonna have a hard time sounding original.
Well, and I think one of the gripes that I have is that there's not really ever a long game. It's like there's not any shepherding of young talent. Like how do we think a kid like Mason Ramsey, do we think he can be a great country singer when he's 20? Maybe, but we're not going to find out. We're going to
what happened to that guy?
We're going to pimp him out as much as he can when he's 12.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird topic just because we haven't seen like it play out, but I don't know. Like it was a viral Facebook thing or whatever, and it's just like I don't know. And they pimped that dude out to like Coachella, like he was playing like
he was hanging out with
Diplo.
Frat houses. They were chanting when he was drinking his bottle of water. I'm like, this poor fucking kid, like. And then now what? What? Oh, he got weird and awkward because he's a boy and he got big and lanky and weird. And then people are like, oh, you're not the same guy.
You're not cute Mason anymore. You're
not the yodel.
I mean, I don't know. And I don't know. I hope
I'm not talking about his physical. I'm not
totally.
I want to clarify that. Like, I'm not talking about his physical look, but that was the package. It was like, look at this little cute guy at Walmart.
Yeah.
And then it became this like, oh, he's like a teenager. Never mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just like
you hope the best for him, but it's like, I mean, look at Macaulay Culkin or whatever. It's like that dude. He's in a band that's like dedicated to like writing about pizza or something like that. So it's like he's pretty out there, and he probably because like I don't think kids are really supposed to be in the limelight like that. That's a lot. You're burdening a kid who's not even a teenager. He might be a teenager now, but he wasn't when all this was popping off. So.
Didn't Macaulay Culkin date Mila Kunis for like 10 years?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Aliens. Yeah. Yeah, they were together forever.
That's just some LA like stuff.
PR, like J-Lo. I don't want J-Lo and Ben Affleck. Is this real? What's going on here?
It's like why people are leaving LA. They're like, oh, we found out about Macaulay Culkin and Mila Kunis. Like we're out. We can't stay.
Or Macaulay Culkin, I believe, started a band called something with pizza, like pizza,
he did.
And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on?
It's like very.
Like, who knows, man?
People just are like, I'm bored. I'm gonna just Justin Bieber.
Still got that Home Alone money.
I said this. I hated Justin Bieber when I was younger in college and stuff. And when college, I don't know if he was around in college, but I remember when you would meet girls and they love Justin Bieber, like we'd get annoyed. We're like, God damn it! Like we want to listen to country music and you're like, this kid, how young he got famous. The fact that he wasn't a complete fuck up. That he's kind of like found his way out.
He's found his way. Yeah.
It's like I'm kind of like impressed. I'm like, shit. Like that's not easy.
Give me half $500 million at 14 years old and then see what happens.
Oh, like we talk about being a first round draft, a number 1 draft pick in the NFL or whatever. Like 21-year-old me, here's $12 million signing bonus. Like,
what do you think?
I don't know. Like, I'm gonna be. I'm focused. I'm focused. Like I don't know.
Johnny Manziel. Like that's more. I think that would be me. I would be Johnny Manziel. I just
100%
knew at 21, knowing who I was at 21, I would have been Johnny Manziel. Totally. I would have shit the whole bag.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't
Get
know.
all over the room.
You can only hope the best for that the Mason Ramsey situation, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's like I said, talking about what's going on in Nashville. It's kind of like I said, we just live here. It's convenient to live here for touring.
You guys do live there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you guys did or not. Lived in your hometowns or.
Yeah, we live in the area or whatever. We've been here for golly 6 years. So like, it's just been, like I said,
It's easier for Gary and I, honestly. Like selfishly, like that's why,
Yeah.
No, so
we live in the same spot, so it's like pretty convenient.
You guys we mentioned we were all married, and I saw a funny story today, kind of going viral on Twitter and then a few websites. Jamaica wedding, like a destination wedding, and this girl or the couple had a person not show up to the wedding without like a notice, so they invoiced them to pay $240 for their no-show.
Their plates.
Damn,
did you guys have any crazy wedding stuff, or do you kind of just like let it slide off your bag, like no big deal? Because I've heard some horror stories wedding wise. Luckily for me, it was small. It was in Europe. It was kind of chill. I didn't really have to worry about much. But when you hear a story like that, and we're talking about money and throwing money, that's kind of this is the world we're living in now. You're gonna invoice a guest $240 because they missed their lobster surfing.
I got married in 2019, by the way, so I'm just gonna throw that out there. I had a breezy wedding, 75 people, no COVID, we're good to go.
Oh yeah, same here. Like, oh my God, my wife. I forgot the year I got married, but
I was one of the lucky COVID. But it wasn't bad. Like obviously when we first, I got engaged 3 months before the pandemic started. So like we were already planning everything, and I mean nothing really crazy besides just we had to change the date by day and the venue. But I mean we had a pretty small wedding. I think we had like the same amount, 75 to 100 people there down in Mobile, and I mean it was great. Like it all at the same location. Like we didn't have any like drama or anything like that. I don't think
it didn't turn out to be a super spreader event either.
Yeah, no. Yeah. When he actually got COVID, but they could have. But
I think I had like 30 people at mine, and it was because it was overseas, and this is great. Like almost, it was almost so good that I wish we just got the marriage stuff out of the way and then just had a party here versus like have the actual.
That's what everybody says, man.
Yeah,
like I know so many people. They're like, dude, I wish we'd have just taken that X amount of dollars and just spent a fourth of it on 3 of our friends and just
like, hey, we're all meet us in the Bahamas or whatever, and just have a good time. Yeah, it's like
so many people say that.
Yeah, we did mine. Mine was in February of 2020.
So you were right before.
So you missed.
We got off the plane on the honeymoon, and it was just like all of a sudden shit started getting weird, and we were just like, oh, this is crazy. Where did we come back?
This is crazy.
Isn't it funny though?
We could chalk up COVID to your wedding now.
I think I brought it back. I brought it back from Costa Rica. That's the real story.
Yeah.
But it's like, isn't it funny though? Like with the world just going to shit, it seems like with the COVID and everything going on, and then the aliens come out, and we have like videos of the Air Force, and nobody cares. It's just like whatever. If that shit came out 5 years ago, we'd all be freaking out. People would be running around the streets, and it's just like whatever. Aliens.
Dude, I just like how they threw that in there. They're like, yeah, aliens definitely exist. There's some sketchy stuff out there. But like, whatever.
Pentagon is sending it out, and I'm sitting back in my backyard here on an edible, staring at the stars, like waiting for them to like.
You're like, wait, are they nice?
But is it? Do you find presence and sometimes like looking at stuff that's outside of the music like that? And I get into like nerdy stuff like that, but it's kind of interesting, right? Because the social media world kind of forces you to like pay attention to certain stuff you don't want to pay attention to.
No doubt.
Yeah, you're right.
It's for us, it's fucking torture, dude. Like you go on Twitter, we want to use Twitter in a way, and then it's this whole, it's political, it's this, it's cancel, it's this, that, whatever, and COVID, it's just all negative, like all of the time.
Right.
Because Charlie, I know you kind of have shared some like mental health stuff over the time. Like, do you stop and go like, this is fucking toxic? Like, I wish I could just not be on.
I mean, for sure, bro. Like, I mean, I feel like Gary and I have this talk with the band like weekly, where it's like one crazy thing that like I've noticed is like, first of all, it's never going to end. Like that, no one's ever going to, the left and the right, quote unquote, are never going to come together and be like, all right, let's figure this out. Like, it's just going to do that. They want you to feel crazy. So you have to make these decisions. And like, it's just like, dude, I just don't care, man. Like, I'm sorry. You know, like a lot of people will be like, well, you have such a big platform, Charlie. Like, why don't you take a political stance and all this stuff? I'm like, nah, like, I don't care about your political stance. Like, I make music. I'm going to play that. That's my stance. Like, I mean, that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to solve it, but it is toxic, man. It's just, it doesn't matter what the issue is. Everybody's got a different opinion, and they're supposed to, you know, like they're supposed to have a different opinion. It's like,
it's tough because we're both our businesses are like, we wouldn't be an independent Muscadine Bloodline band and be where we're at if it wasn't for social media. Like
True.
Do that. I mean, and Whiskey Riff the same. And so it's another blessing and a curse, but I don't know. I got way more involved with just like getting outside and just honestly turning my phone off, like, or just not having it on me. Like I honestly now, like I charge my phone in a different room when I go to bed. So like,
that's smart.
I'm actually kind of become a bookworm. Like I've been trying to read like a book every 2 weeks, and it's just kind of like, I've been doing that and just like going to bed with that, and not just the aimless scrolling, get up, aimless scroll again. And then, you know,
it literally trains your mind to just be like, just a zombie if you just do that all the time.
Oh, dude, dude, you want to hear how fucked up I am? My wife will be like, hey, can you like text my mom? And I'll pull up my phone and go to like Instagram. Just like, I'm like scrolling. She's like, you're supposed to text. I'm like, oh shit, yeah.
Like,
that's what I'm
shit. I was just going to check the notifications.
It's like a reflex. Check Twitter, check Instagram, like check my email. You know, like those reflexes just immediately.
There's them little numbers on the apps,
right?
You know.
Well, one thing I've done that helps me is, for example, like Reddit. Instead of following like maybe a super negative collection of subreddits, I follow like Earth Porn, Most Beautiful, like all these like visually stunning parts of the world, or cities, or cozy rooms, like all these like weird accounts that like make me feel like present. I'm like, oh, cool. I want to like buy a house and like make a room that looks like this. Yeah, or do whatever. That to me has been a huge help. And on my personal Instagram, I unfollowed everybody except like Whiskey Riff related stuff, and I love it. Like I don't have any more of this. Oh, so and so I follow that I knew in college is doing this. Like
brings you back to comparison.
That sounds kind of dope, actually.
Yeah,
just unfollow everybody.
Oh, I love. I wish I could do it more with Whiskey Riff. If I did it with Whiskey Riff, we would have 25 emails the next morning. So we noticed you haven't followed the. Like I just be like,
see, I don't care. I don't really care about my personal page. So like, I'm feeling like that might be the play for that one. Like,
dude, I just follow
800 people.
I follow like National Geographic, Earth Pics, like all of these cool visual things.
That sounds kind of tight. You're on something there.
Yeah, that's it. And you just follow that, and then every time you go out, you just see positive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we listen. I don't know if you listen to the band City and Color. It's a guy out of Canada.
I gotta grab my charger real quick, boy.
Yeah, he's a great songwriter, but he did this live record, and he was like, man, like we just live in this world where we're trying to remember things so much that like we're not like just experiencing things. So it's like, for example, we go play Portrait Angel, the phones come out. It's like, man, you're missing like what you came here for, because you want to so bad. Mm-hmm. And it's like, dude, just going out there and actually just going out there and living it and enjoying it, because we live in like a dope country, and like we can do really anything we want. Like we have the freedom to take whatever stance we want, and you don't get killed for it. Like it's like I mean, if you post something on social media, you're gonna run into people who disagree with you. That's just what's gonna happen. And if you want to, be out there and be a voice like that, but it's just kind of like, I get out every day where I'm at, and I'm looking outside right now, and it's just beautiful hillside with a huge open field, and it's just like it's peaceful out here, and it's so nice to just really just unplug, get away, and then get to the phone when you got to get to it and just not really, worry about it too much. Because at the end of the day, whatever happens in the world, like I'm going to still eat the same, every day. It doesn't really matter. Like, it's just kind of like the world's just going to do what it's supposed to do. And, it's whatever I post or say or whatever, it's out of our control. It won't change anything. So it's kind of like, we just got to go out there
we're just a blip. We're just a blip in the grand scheme of things. So it's why like put that.
It's funny to me then, because then people get mad at you. Like people, speaking of sometimes the fans, like they'll be like, "I can't believe you don't use your influence on this." Like I just can't believe that.
We get that all the time now.
It's like, hey, I guess what? I'm gonna use my influence on exactly what I want to do. Like that's
exactly. We're supposed to influence you.
That's what you do. Like
the music, and the hunting and fishing world, not fucking this world politics, over here. That's you have all the stuff you need over there when you want to get into the mud of the bullshit going on in the world. Like that's not what we're here for. Like what
we want to be an escape from that. Like
dude. Like I agree, man.
Like I don't want anyone to come to Whiskey Riff and aside from like, music relevant news stuff, be like, oh man, it's just all politics. It's all world stuff. Like I want someone to turn off the news and be like, I want to listen to some cool music. I want to find an awesome new band. I want to see, learn something about hunting or fishing today that I didn't know. Like that's
I'll be unfollowing people too. I would block your ass in a heartbeat. You come at me. I'm serious. You come at me sideways about something, I'm like, I'm done with you. Don't need you. Like, see ya. That's one benefit about social media. You can't block people in real life. You can block them online.
Like you said, Wes, it's like, our job is to take people out of the world for 90 minutes. And it's just like race, creed, color, sexual origin. I don't care. Like, I just want you to come and have a good time. Like, that's really it. Experience something. And because like concerts are like the one thing, like everyone's singing the same song. It doesn't matter what happened to you or what happened to the guy next to you. Like y'all all shared in this moment. If y'all are coming to see Eric Church at an arena, y'all are there to see Eric Church. And it doesn't matter who you voted for or, who you like. It's just kind of like, that's just what it is. And that's what makes music such a cool thing and why is it so important. And we're fortunate enough to get to take that stance. It's like the best place to be is where you can be the place where everyone can come and not have to worry about that stuff. Right. So that I'm not going to use my platform to disassociate with people who want to come see me play.
And same with like actors and actresses and stuff like that. Like I don't watch movies because of what you believe. Like I don't watch a movie because you like support Trump or you support it. I don't watch it because of that. Like it's the same with music. Like I don't listen to bands because they support this group or whatever. Like I just listen if I like it,
Yeah.
Like we've like even with becoming friends and writing with him during this thing, like he's pretty political and like we disagree with him, but we are friends enough to where it's like, dude, I'm not gonna freaking hate you. Like if you disagree with me on something, like we could still. That's the problem with America. I mean, I didn't mean to get into this, but like we can't be.
That's true.
Like, we can't be friends anymore. Like that's so messed up, and it's like, dude, like there was a time where we could like not disagree, still go to the same cookout and have fun. Like that's not a thing anymore now. Like if you associate with one thing, then you're like, cast away from this whole other group. You associate with that person, like you're a terrible human too. So that's just what this social media world has really kind of created. It sucks, but it's weird. And we're all trying to figure out how to navigate it, I guess.
Well, and then people receive information in these like micro bits of things, and they just like take what they can on social media. So like
culture.
We'll write an article about, Garth Brooks canceled show because of COVID. And then it's like, Whiskey Riff, you're pushing that vaccine shit. And it's like, it just happened, man. Like there's no like opinion in that. It's just the news. This is what happened. Like,
yeah.
Well, somebody got on to us the other day too about we announced a show like in Virginia and they jumped into DMs and they were like, hey man, like I can't believe that y'all would play a show that is asking for 3 days negative COVID test and a vaccine or a vaccination. Like I just can't believe y'all wouldn't stand for freedom. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean, dude? Like, it gave you the option. Like, they didn't say like you have to be vaxxed. Like, I mean,
you don't own the bar or the
venue. Like, what do you mean, dude?
Yeah, and so it's like I said, I think people like, they just take their shots or whatever because they know you're going to respond to something like that, like, or whatever. So like, there's some cool people out there, but it's just like, I mean, that one really weighed heavy on me, like, because that's what I woke up to. The first thing I saw was a DM, like when I got to my phone, and I was like, oh, this is how we're going to start a Tuesday today. Right. So it's, I mean, it is what it is, and like you said,
and we take it too serious sometimes too. Like, like I look at stuff on Twitter all the time. It's like, oh, somebody said Muscadine Bloodline was trash, and I'll be like, damn, like that gets in my head a little bit, and then I'm like, and then I realize like, dude, it doesn't matter. Like, does it matter? No, it doesn't. And I'm glad you don't like me. Like, thanks.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. It sucks because like, and you have to get with how you respond because that same person could screenshot what you say. Like, and it's just like, this is the world we live in. Like, it's just bait and catch world, and it's just like, I don't know. It sucks, but that's where
it does. Yeah.
Fortunate where Charlie and I are not, raging alcoholics, and we're not idiot. Like how we use our, platform or whatever. So we use pretty good discernment on how we approach things or whatever. So it's nice to know that I can trust Charlie. I'm not on Twitter as much as Charlie, but like, I trust him with all, to answer just as I would answer to.
Yeah, I mean that's the same
no
with us.
Loose
like,
cannons.
Yeah, somebody DMs like Wes can handle it, I can handle it. We have
right.
Yeah, we're trying
our
to
lawyer can handle it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, if shit gets a little weird or something gets a little incorrect, like
if it gets real weird, I'll just hit you up, Gary, and be like, "Yo, what should we say to this guy? Like, what is it?"
That's what exactly. I sent a screenshot. What the fuck is this, dude? Like, what? Like,
why does this guy hate us?
Yeah, I think you'll be glad that Charlie uses Twitter because I'll write up tweets that I almost hit post, and I'm like, yeah, I probably should. I'm smart. I didn't say that.
Oh, back in the day, I got into some trouble doing that with whiskey, or before we kind of like took the next steps and stuff. But I would just like, we would get drunk, and I would be the one that tended to want to get on Twitter more and just like say something. And I'm like, luckily having a kid and getting married, I kind of
pop off on Twitter.
I got a DM today to my, I think, personal Instagram or Facebook. I don't know, one of the two. You're a terrible writer. I just wanted you to know that. Some guy.
Sick. Thanks, bro.
And it's like the guy's sitting in his fucking basement jerking off. It's just like,
you're like, I never said I was good at it, by the way. So just throw that.
My favorite is like, you guys call yourselves journalists? No, never.
No. Like,
if anything, we've had podcast episodes explaining that we're not. Like, it's just like
we don't even know what we're doing. We're just doing it. Same with music. It's just like, hey, we just figured it out.
If you like our opinion and you like our sense of humor, you're gonna have a good time here. If you don't, then
there's a door.
You're not gonna have a good time.
Yeah. Same with music. Same with you guys. Like,
yeah, I will say this: it's been cool. Like, not to like pump y'all up anymore, but it's like, it's cool to go to shows like everywhere and people are wearing Whiskey Riff stuff. It's like really
straight up.
It's really awesome to see the culture y'all have created, and it's cool. Like, I mean, we were in Lafayette, Alabama, like outside of Auburn, and like the promoter was wearing Whiskey Riff gear, and
that's
like
cool.
On the crowd wearing it, and it's like,
I need to hear this because sometimes we're so stressed out and so in our own pocket.
You're like, are we growing, bro?
Yeah.
Because we're so focused on like numbers, and we can see the numbers, but we can't see the stuff that really like matters the most to us.
And part of it goes back to some of that conversation we were talking about of, the Bieber stuff, and like, there are moments where people are like, oh, can I buy you guys a shot? And like, we haven't been at a bar in 2 years probably together for a show, but back then it was like, oh, can we buy you guys a shot? We love Whiskey Riff. And you're like, fuck yeah, you can. Like,
yeah,
hell yeah. And
our favorite moments have been like military guys at Joe's bar in Chicago, like pulling us aside and being like, when I was stationed in obviously like Afghanistan or whatever, like is a complete craziness right now, but I was stationed there, or I was stationed here, and when I was bored and had internet, I would go to your website, I would go to your playlist,
I'd find new stuff,
and then we were just like, what? Like, it doesn't seem real because you put stuff out there similar to music. I think you put stuff out there, but you forget people are listening to it. Or you forget people are reading it or watching it. Or
we just had a guy a couple weeks ago DM saying he's in the Middle East somewhere stationed, and he's like, man, I started listening to this sad country songs playlist, and it just reminds me of home, and like I love it. And it's just like,
it gives you that little boost of what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it gives you a
You're like,
boost.
damn.
Like for you guys, the fans, similarly, right? Like
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
that positive DM, that tweet, that Portuguese Angel
yeah.
Like, hey, we're just
proposal,
Wedding-
to let you
wedding
know,
song,
like,
yeah.
wedding songs, like
Exactly.
that's what it's all about, and the rest will fall into
into place.
place. Yeah, but
Yeah.
For sure.
all right, guys, you can't give details on the new album, but the new single comes out Friday, and it's a honky tonk jam.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Yep.
we got video too. It's pretty. It's fun. So
It's already streaming on SiriusXM The Outlaw. I'm just saying.
Okay.
So you can hear
Nice.
it there.
We'll be sharing it for sure. And
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
I feel like we could talk for 4 hours, but
we
Oh,
could
for
do.
sure. I was like, hold on, let me get my charger. I could be here for a little bit. Hold on.
No, I mean, fun because like we like I said we do different things, but we're all like minded, like how we're doing this, how we're navigating the world of
Yeah.
business. Really cool, and so it's always good to check in with you guys. And I know, like I said, we're going to be there. And then Steve, you're the one in Colorado, correct?
yeah, Wes is in Chicago still.
Okay, gotcha. So like, yeah, we're out there with we're out in Denver with Co in November. So
Oh shit, that's gonna be good. Wes might
Yeah.
have to
I
come
might
for
fly
that.
out for that one.
yeah, we can.
That guy's
Yeah, come on.
Woo!
yeah.
Co-Wetzel.
He's a nut.
We can get y'all some tickets or whatever. So that'd be cool. Y'all can come hang out.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Man.
All right,
Y'all be-
boys.
guys, for real. And thanks for always being champions for it.
Anytime.